Hello, my name's Duncan McLean. I was born in 1945, which makes me 67 now. I was born in Scotland and now I've lived most of my life out of Scotland.
So Duncan, would you like to tell us a little bit about how you started to train as a diver after leaving the army?
I left the army in 1966 and I've been stationed in the Middle East, and I've been doing some leisure diving in the Persian Gulf, which was absolutely lovely, very warm water, very clear water, and I thought I was quite good at diving, so I was considering that as a career option. "Oh, you're a diver?" I said, "Well, I've done a bit." He said, "Well, the Manchester Ship Canal are looking for divers now and they're really struggling. Are you interested?" I said, "Yeah, I am." So they gave me this name and details of a set of lock gates in Warrington. And he said, "Make your way down to Warrington and they are expecting you." And it was like a den of thieves it was. I was sitting there, all smoking, heavily tattooed and playing cards. And they were working. I said, "I've come about the diver's job. Come in, lad. Do you play cards?" He said, "Oh, I play cards." So they dealt me in and we spent an hour playing cards, and that was the interview. If you could play cards, you were okay. And I passed the first part of the interview. The second part was what they call a dip, which means the new driver actually getting dressed and going into the water to show that he can dive. And there's 3 of a crew in a diving boat. There's a couple of divers and there's one linesman. And the linesman, it's a skilled job, and it's him that actually dresses you. And he's a lovely old chap. And he saw me with this diving suit, and I think he thought, "Oh, God, we've got one here, And he said, "You haven't done this before, have you?" I said, "I've done a little bit." And he says, "Oh, okay." I climbed down this ladder, and I got down to the bottom, and I thought, "God, this is awful." And he said, "I'm going to send you a hammer and chisel down in a bucket." So I'm standing at the bottom, and this bucket banged on the helmet. And I thought, right, he said, "I want you to hammer and chisel against the wall of the lock wall, so that I can hear you hammering and chiseling in the dark." So I put the hammer down, I found the wall, and I put the hammer down, and I got the chisel, and I put the chisel in, and I thought, "Where's the bloody hammer?" And I put the chisel down, and I went looking for the hammer, and you could see your bubbles way away from where I should have been. And he said, "You've lost the hammer, haven't you?" I said, "I've lost the chisel as well." And he said, "Come up, you silly bugger." And he said, "Well, Duncan, you're crap, but you're the best we've had today, so do you want the job?" And I said, "Yeah, go on then." And I was there for 3.5 years, I think. Once I got established at the Manchester Ship Canal, they obviously wanted some personal details from me. They wanted names and dates of birth and addresses and things like that. Well, I hadn't actually found somewhere to stay, and I couldn't find anywhere to stay. I was actually living in my car. And in the evening I used to nip into a pub and have a bottle of Guinness and ask them if they had any accommodation, or if they knew where I can get some accommodation. And I looked a bit scruffy, and everywhere I went they said, "No, we've got nowhere here." Well, by the time I'd been round to 5 or 6 places, having a bottle or 2 of Guinness in each place, I then definitely wasn't going to be getting anywhere to stay. And on one particular night, I went into this chip shop in Warrington for my tea. And he seemed a nice chap, and I said, "Excuse me, don't know of anywhere around here where I can get some accommodation?" And he said, "You can stay here." And he said, "You came in for some fish and chips. Would you like some tea now? Because this is your home." It must have looked a bit strange. I said, "That would be lovely." Now, I've never liked fish, and I still don't like fish. and they came in with this big plate of fish and chips. They'd chosen me a particularly large piece of fish, because that was the new lodger. It was battered cod, and they'd singled me out this huge piece of fish. And of course I ate it, and that was a mistake, because once you've eaten it once, every Friday, for the 3 years I lived there, I got fish and bloody chips. We did quite a lot of repair work on quite large ships that went up and down the canal, and we did quite a lot of work on their propellers. But before we would go on to the propeller, we'd actually go into there and see the engine room and actually make sure they disconnected the engine from the prop shaft, so there's no way that we can be sitting, these propellers are massive, there's no way we can be sitting on top of a propeller and somebody by accident switched the engine on. So we always had to go on board the ship, and there's always lots of whiskey on all these ships, and we usually got fed and lots to drink, and it was a sort of social event really, going on board.
So you were talking before about it being dangerous on the canals. Or
Yeah.
would you say dangerous, or not everyone could manage that kind of job?
I know it's not a job that many people would be interested in doing, particularly with the black water and the claustrophobic aspect of it. Because with diving, the deeper you go, I believe the more hazardous it is, because you're going into culverts. You're going down to the bottom of the canal, perhaps 30 feet deep. You go down to the bottom, and then you go in a hole about that big, and you lower a rope down inside, then you go down into another area, then you crawl along a tunnel which is going under the lock wall. So not only are you going down, you're going along and down again, and 20 or 30 yards crawling along a tunnel. Now, some people feel the diving suit quite claustrophobic, some people feel the black water quite claustrophobic, but combine that with going down and being in a couple of tunnels as well. Yeah, that could be quite scary. And you are totally dependent upon the team above, because what they would do is you would go into a culvert and there's a massive sluice gate there. Now you had to confirm that sluice gate was down. The water would be drained away from the other side of the sluice gate. When that happened, there was huge suction around the leakage. There would be leakage around the side of the gate. If somebody was to lift that gate up then, you'd be dragged under. So that was quite risky. We found the odd unpleasant thing down there, and quite often there was some massive obstruction. And I can remember going down once, and I felt this thing, and I grabbed it, and I thought, what is it? And Brian said, grab some of it and come up, and we'll have a look. So I'm digging my hands in this thing, I'm pulling bits out, and I came up, and it was a cow. And I'm thinking, oh my God. So I'd actually lumps of this cow's flesh that I'd been ripping out. I didn't know.